So John Ramos spent the day talking with voters in Harris's hometown of Berkeley about this shakeup in the race.
What a difference a day makes. On Sunday morning, the nation was facing a presidential election involving two elderly white men. But 24 hours later, the political landscape had completely changed, and voters are still coming to grips with it. There are lots of Democrat voters on the streets of Berkeley, but there's also a lot of doubt about the condition of President Joe Biden, especially after how feeble he appeared during the televised debate.
I think that his mental capacities are starting to diminish or diminishing, and so we need someone who's still got the sharpness.
So Sunday's announcement that President Biden was pulling out of the race and endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris came as welcome news to Democrat Sharon Tiller.
I was exhilarated because I was really hoping that President Biden would, rise to the occasion and be a statesman and allow a younger generation, to take over or to compete to take over.
Nonsense. I mean, he's been doing fine. And if he felt he could still do it, I don't see why he shouldn't have. Yeah.
Marissa Walden was concerned that Biden dropping out would start a feeding frenzy among Democrat presidential hopefuls. So she's a little relieved that Kamala Harris is, at least for now, being accepted as a potential replacement.
Harris seems to be getting a lot of support, so I feel better about that now, because dividing everyone, like splitting the vote, splitting support, it's not going to get us anywhere.
But a win-at-all-costs attitude was what drove Chris Jones from the Democratic Party. He's now an independent and suspects that Democrats are jumping on board with Harris without really knowing much about her.
Will she be really far left, or will she be moderate, or someplace in between? I don't know where she's at. And I don't know that I could find that out. I'll be voting before 2 weeks after I know who's running, That's not the way I would like to vote for a president.
Kamala Harris was born and raised in Berkeley and gained her reputation as a tough prosecutor and district attorney in San Francisco. She was seen as a rising star, moving from state attorney general to U.S. senator to the nation's first woman vice president. But despite the resume, Berkeley voter Tony Givens thinks there may be a huge obstacle for presidential candidate Harris to overcome.
Well, I'm wondering, would people be all right with a female running the country?
It's not something most people talk about openly, but it may be something they take into the voting booth with them.
Some may, accept her, and I'm thinking that many of them may not, because, everybody, not everybody, but people probably in general think that, we as men should be, giving the orders and running the country, and not, sorry to say, but not a woman. But then again, she may get in there, man, and surprise people and do a good job. Who knows?
Who knows, indeed. This election has become a referendum on fear. Fear about aging, fear about gender, fear about democracy itself. And it's making everyone just a little bit uneasy.
Democrats are planning to push forward with a virtual roll call for delegates to choose their nominee before the convention in Chicago next month. They'll meet to discuss how it will work on Wednesday. Harris has been endorsed by hundreds of Democratic lawmakers. In addition to President Biden, she has picked up endorsements from the Clintons, as well as 23 Democratic governors, including several who had been rumored as potential competitors. Harris also got a big boost from former Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who said her endorsement was personal.